Hello and welcome to Take on Tech. Yes, we are your #1 tech show, always keeping you updated with everything technology. With everything in the world, almost everything going digital, we want to look at the place of journalism in this place. So later on, Githaiga and her guests will be coming on board to speak on journalism and technology. But before that, we'll be keeping you updated with all tech news and our Tech of the Week feature. The hashtag to use is Take on Tech. My name is Ayieta. Elon Musk has been making news across the internet after he bought the largest shares of Twitter. Then, later on, he declined the offer to join Twitter's board of directors. People have had a lot of speculations around this area, so we are asking you, what do you think of Elon Musk's move to decline joining Twitter's board of directors? Do you think there's a motive behind this? Talk to us using the hashtag TakeOnTech at KBC Channel 1 or on our fan page at TakeOnTech. In Tech News today, we give you more details of today's question concerning Elon Musk declining the offer to join Twitter's board of directors in spite of him having the largest shares. Safaricom has also opened up its Lipa na M-Pesa services to subscribers of Airtel and Telkom. More details on this in our Tech News Roundup.
Tesla CEO Elon Musk disclosed on Monday 12th that he had abandoned a plan to join Twitter's board just as his tenure was about to start. Musk revealed last week that he had accepted a board seat at Twitter, contradicting a regulatory filing he had published a day earlier in which he described himself as a passive investor. Sources told Reuters at the time that Musk asked Twitter for a board seat weeks before the social media company agreed to the agreement. After his sudden U-turn, Musk said in a regulatory filing on Monday that he could now increase his 9.1% stake in Twitter or push the company to pursue transactions, even though he has no such plans at this time. However, Twitter chief executive Parag Agrawal warned Twitter employees in a tweet on Sunday of distractions ahead, a possible reference to Musk's criticism of the company through tweets. He added that he believed Musk's withdrawal was for the best. Musk deleted on Monday many of the tweets he posted over the past weekend about the social media platform. It was not clear what prompted the move. His tweets included suggestions on how to transform Twitter and its products. On Saturday, he asked roughly 81 million Twitter followers to vote on whether the company should turn its San Francisco headquarters into a homeless shelter. Musk also suggested Twitter Blue subscribers should be allowed to pay with Dogecoin, get an authentication checkmark, and keep the offer free of advertisements. He also posted a separate poll, which has since been deleted, asking people to vote on whether Twitter should drop the W from its name. Starting from 2024, Kenyans using mobile money products will be able to use agency networks to deposit or withdraw cash from their wallets. This means that a T-Cash or Airtel Money user will be able to walk into an M-Pesa agent and transact. The Kenya's mobile network operators, that is Telkom, Safaricom and Airtel, on 8th April announced the interoperability of their mobile money service platforms, allowing Kenyans to make mobile money payments to a Lipa na M-Pesa buy goods till from any of the three networks. The services will exclusively be applicable to Lipa na M-Pesa buy goods and excludes pay bills. According to Safaricom, this is the first phase towards complete merchant interoperability, whose objective is to enable customers from the three mobile money service platforms make direct mobile money payments to any merchant till number across all networks, boosting the adoption and convenience of making cashless payments. The second phase towards complete merchant interoperability will see Kenyans make mobile money payments from M-Pesa to till numbers on other networks, Airtel Money and T-Cash. The second phase towards complete merchant interoperability will see Kenyans make mobile money payments from M-Pesa to till numbers on other networks.
Sweden has come up with a new technology that doesn't require you to walk around with your cards to access services. You will instead walk around with your electronic chip in your hand to access transactions, make withdrawals, and access services such as the COVID-19 passes. Let's hear more in our Tech of the Week.
Technologies continue to get closer and closer to our bodies. Picture a world where all you need to get through the day is hidden just below the surface of your hand. No need to walk around with your ID, money, business cards, and even keys. Though still rare, this is the reality of several thousand Swedes who see the electronic chip implant as a convenience other than a dystopian nightmare. According to BBC, a microchip was first planted into a human back in 1998, but it is only during the past decade that the technology has been made available commercially. The chips are designed to speed up users' daily routines and make their lives more convenient. Accessing their homes, offices, and gyms is as easy as swiping their hands against digital readers. They also can be used to store emergency contact details, social media profiles, or e-tickets for events and rail journeys within Sweden. Around the size of a grain of rice, the chips typically are inserted into the skin just above each user's thumb using a syringe similar to that used for giving vaccinations. Proponents of the tiny chips say they are safer and largely protected from hacking, but opponents are raising privacy concerns around the kind of personal data that might be stored on the devices. Financial technology expert Oloo says that implanted payment chips are just an extension of the Internet of Things. By that, she means another new way of connecting and exchanging data. The managing director of Disruptive Subdermals, one of the companies developing the microchips, said that he has programmed the chip implant in his arm so that he has his COVID-19 passport accessible to him anytime at the swipe of his phone. While he acknowledged that many people see chip implants as a scary technology, he said that instead they should be viewed as a simple ID tag. He continues to say they don't even have a battery, they cannot transmit the signal by themselves, so they are basically asleep, they can never tell your location, they are only activated when you touch them with your smartphone. In this country of early adopters, not everyone is rushing to get chipped. Some say they remember this just being a conspiracy theory, and now it is not considered the future as it is already a reality in Sweden as cash is slowly becoming obsolete.
It is time for the interview with Githaiga. She will be talking about journalism and the use of technology with Mr. William Janak, who's the chairman of Kenya Correspondents Association.
Thank you so much, Stephanie, for that introduction. You're watching the interview section of Take on Tech, a weekly program that brings you technological concepts and debates and breaks them down in an untech way. Now, in today's interview section, we are going to be looking at the question of media and technology. In fact, reporters and the importance of technology. Are reporters embracing technology? If so, in what ways? Are they facing any challenges? And to help us understand what the issues are, in the studio, we have William Oloo Janak. He is the chairman of the Kenya Correspondents Association. Karibu sana, chairman.
Thanks, Grace.
Okay, and he will just again be talking to us about journalists and the use of technology. Now, Janak, karibu sana. My first question, how is technology being used in journalism?
Technology has become a very important thing in journalism because in the gathering of news now, you will find that most journalists have become more or less like multimedia platforms themselves, because you find that in any given environment, you'll find journalists, are able to transmit stories on site. They are able to, to edit videos. They are able to send, information even for online, using that right from the field. It's no longer the case of like in the previous, where would you be running to a booth? No, it has changed. So you'll find that one journalist will do multiple things using technology, and then very fast. Yeah. So that it has also eased the work for many journalists.
For journalists,
yeah.
There are people who are watching this program and they do not know what a booth is. So maybe you may need to explain what the process used to be, yeah, and now how technology has improved that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For those people who, if those people, perhaps right now there are people who may not remember, but before the, say like 2000 and something, and back then, the Kenya Post and Telecommunications had huge structures, booths. Many of them were red or yellow. So if you wanted to make a telephone call, you'd be lining up along, and some of them were not working. So probably you'd have one. At the post office, there would be several. And then you go there, you line up. If you are lucky, perhaps there are fewer people. Otherwise, you would be lining up and waiting, and you have coins. So you insert the coins in the hole, and then you dial the numbers. And then more often than not, there was somebody else helping you within the post office structure to say, which number do you want, where do you want, who do you want to reach? So it was a mediated process all through. It took a long time, and when I was beginning my journalism, I remember, if I had a story, I would probably line up at a booth for several hours because there are other journalists also waiting. And in this case here, the story is being taken, by copy takers in Nairobi using typewriter. And they are also on the other end on phone, their ears, and say, haha, next para. It was a terrible thing.
Okay, so in that sense, how then has technology changed the role of journalists?
It has, in more or less one fell swoop, you'd find that it has removed all the barriers that used to be there. You don't have to get stuck for hours for you to file a story. As we'd be waiting, if you have a story that you carried over from last evening, or you had a morning story, you'd be there waiting. And like I was at Nation, over 70 or 100 correspondents, and they're just a few copy takers. So right now, at the touch of a button, once you've done your story or picture, you send it immediately, it arrives. We'll be sending feature stories or pictures using a Kamba or some other bus.
A Kamba bus? A
Kamba bus. And then it would arrive there. You've got to get somebody from the newsroom to go and collect it. It was a most tedious, process. Current journalists may not understand what it was. So a feature story, like I used to have columns, a feature story for the next Saturday or something would have to be sent very early because there are processes before it can arrive there, and then it has got to be edited. So that has gone. Yeah, so within 5 minutes, you can do so many things. You can send the video, you can send the picture, you can send the story, and it can be worked on instantly. And the possibility of your story disappearing is not there because it goes into a system. Yeah.
Okay.
During that time, it could be a pile there and it could disappear.
Okay.
It would gather dust.
Take on Tech takes a short break, and when we return, we'll continue with this interview with the chairman of the Kenya Correspondent Association, and we are looking at the issue of journalism and technology. Keep watching us, follow us on our social media handles, and that's at KBC Channel 1. You're watching the interview section of Take on Tech, and today we are talking about journalism and technology with Oloo Janak, who is the chairman of the Kenya Correspondent Association. Now, we are talking about how technology is becoming critical to journalism and to media in general. So you, as you know, as Kenya Correspondent Association, with a large network in the country of reporters, and we know some of them have tech challenges, what are you doing to support them to embrace technology and be able to report in this technological context?
Actually, we've been doing a bit of quite some capacity building. Many journalists are coming from more or less the older, the other background, and many journalists in the field also never had a chance, except the new ones who are coming out of colleges and so on. But the older generation never had a chance. So some of them are just able to type their stories, or if it was on computer, and send an email, and sometimes they even forget. They don't log out at cyber at the cyber cafe. So the issues even of security, digital security is a big challenge. So we have encouraged the journalists to, it is retooling. We have encouraged many of the journalists corresponding across the country that it's important to move with the times. It has been slow. It's not always easy because they're talking about resources. Others are just also afraid. Technology makes many people afraid. Yeah, but what we have done is to continuously encourage them. And not only that, with a number of our partners, we've been able to take a number of them through, through appreciating technology. Some of them have been, largely the approach has been not necessarily training them on use of computers or something like that. That one we encourage them to do. But now, manipulating technology, using technology for research, looking at the digital, systems and knowing how to use that to their advantage in terms of, packaging news, in terms of being safe on the internet and so on. And also how to use that, especially now we are talking about multimedia platforms. It becomes very important because if you don't move to that so that you are able, you'll be laid off. Because if you can't do even short videos, if you can't do audios, if you can't do online, then you find that increasingly many media houses cannot have multiple people going out there to, to collect news. They want the same person to do all that. So the sooner you change, the better. That has been what we have been doing. So what we have done is mount a lot of training, training. The training has been linked to one, the need to encourage journalists to embrace technology. We have a lot of discussions, and we have many platforms where we have that. We have big WhatsApp groups at the national level and at all the regions, manned by somewhere. And then we have also trained individuals, especially young ones who are coming out. We want a multiply effect because some of them are more techno-savvy. So we get them to manage some of those platforms, and if we see anything that is coming that is new, apps, we get them on board. And during Corona, for example, many people had to learn too quickly. The ones who are afraid had to learn, or else you will not even receive any news or interview anybody or get information. So yes, it has been slow, but I think we have made quite some effort, and this also includes in terms of digital, security, training.
Okay, and what would you say are the key issues that correspondents and journalists should pay attention to when now it comes to technology, development of technology, reporting in a technological context?
I think it's important to watch the environment, because technology is moving so fast that some people can't keep with it. As I said earlier on, there is the whole question of retooling, all the time. When new versions of certain aspects of technology that journalists are using come up, there is need to quickly find a way of doing capacity building for them. We have been having discussions with Aga Khan University that has really developed certain things and is moving in that direction in terms of, training journalists on emerging technology and so on, and or utilization of technology. And of course, there are other frameworks. I know, for example, many of our team members also log on to the Kiktanet framework and listen to the discussions, policy and some of the discussions about what is new, the dangers. And whenever we at the coordinating level of KCA find links and some other resources, we normally share with them and say, hey, look at this. For example, over the last 2 years of Corona, you find that many of them who are afraid of even using Zoom or all those systems now have begun to move in that direction.
Okay.
Initially, they were very afraid, but then they found that they were being left behind, and an important meeting is going on. They are afraid to get involved, or you have set up a meeting. You find half of the people cannot get involved, so you go on. Okay. The following day, you have got to get people to train them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what a nice way to end the interview section. Thank you so much, Janak, for coming to speak to us on this issue of journalism and technology. And I'm sure we are going to see more as we get into the election mode. That's it from us, from the interview section. My name is Grace Githaiga. Please continue following us on our social media handles, and that's at KBC Channel 1.
We have come to our Innovators Club. We have brought you great technological innovations and inventions. But for today, how about we have a do-it-yourself hack which you can do at home with minimal resources. Check it out. So we have come to the end of today's show, but as you know, the conversation never stops. The question we're asking you today is, what is your take on Elon Musk's move declining to have a seat on Twitter's board, despite him having the largest share in Twitter? Talk to us. We want to hear from you. The hashtag is TakeOnTech at KBC Channel 1. You can also talk to us at TakeOnTech. My personal handle is at Stephanie_Ayieta. That is on Instagram, Stephanie Ayieta, across all other social media platforms. Let's meet next week, same time, same place. Until then, adios.